my first, thing I want to say, or like my first inclination of what I want to say is I'm everything and nothing. And I'm learning how to be that. Like I'm learning how to embody that. And yeah, and learning how to just embody that in a way that feels true to me. And yeah, it's just been such a journey. So I think that's kind of what I want to say, I guess, as far as where I am and who I am right now. Mm, yeah. Yes. So I think it's important, I think, for me and my journey and my story to say that I definitely feel like I was purposely recruited into this cult, into this church. Um, and I think I was extremely vulnerable when I joined, or got when I joined, or when I got introduced to it. And I was 18. I moved from the Midwest to California, and like a third cousin who I was living with invited me, and then I met some people around my age, um, and yeah, the process kind of started, right? But I think I was more looking for just a sense of belonging and family, and just community, because I was so isolated and didn't know anybody. And so that's kind of what attracted me in. And it's such a complex kind of situation, because I think I shared on my Facebook, like not all of it was bad at all. Like I still have some amazing friends that are also no longer a part of it, and that I'm still really close to and love dearly. So it's so interesting. Not everybody that's in this cult thought the same, and I gravitated toward the ones that were more, the feelers and the healers, and um the ones that were kind of out of the box, right? Like that didn't kind of conform to the thinking that um the majority, or like the leadership, really held. So yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Like I literally moved out to California, and then a couple months later I got recruited into the cult. So yeah. Mm. Like what would I say to my 18-year-old self? Oh, yeah, I've thought a lot about that, and I've done a lot of my own inner work around that specifically. But I think I would just tell my 18-year-old self, like, to trust myself, to trust my own intuition, to trust my own gut, to listen to myself more, because I think I just was so impressionable, and there were things right away that I did not feel good about, or right, like about. And I think one of the biggest things was studying the Bible, and how there was such a push toward not talking to old friends, or talking to people that weren't a part of the cult because they weren't a part of it, and they were only going to take me away from God. And it's just so twisted. And even saying it out loud is like it makes my stomach hurt because it's yeah, it was so wrong. So I would just tell myself to listen to myself, to trust myself, to believe in myself, and to love myself. And I think I really needed I really needed that to hear that then. But it all happens for a reason, I think. I've learned a lot along the way. So yeah. Oh, like yes and no. Like I think yes and no. And I've had to explore the yes to that and the no. And I think that's come in like the no is like I'm really angry. Like I still can feel a lot of anger and like, oh my gosh, I lost like 11 years of my life. Like that, in a way that's what it can kind of feel like. And or like I want to go back and have like a redo. And then on the flip side, it's like, oh my gosh, look at all that I've been able to accomplish in my life, and look at all the people that I've been able to meet. Even just you. I mean, and the different friends and my therapist. Like, I'm not sure I would have entered into my own therapy if it wasn't for me joining this cult, which is wild. And so that kind of set me up on a unique path and journey. But yeah, so yes and no. Yeah, it was just so wrong, and yeah. Yeah. I think in some ways I was like the perfect person for to get recruited into this cult because of I think my struggles with low self-esteem and not really just trying being so young and trying to figure out who the heck I was. And um so I struggled throughout the whole time, really being a part of it. So I wasn't the best member. I wouldn't go to like I don't know, like people had a lot of issues, with me, especially in the beginning when I started my healing journey of the different leaders telling me, that after only a month of therapy if I was done yet, and things like that. Like they were not very open to me getting my own help, and which is so wild and so crazy. So I struggled throughout the whole time, really being in it, and struggled with my own mental health. Um, and I think, yeah, there was just one night. I've been out of it for like 2.5 years now. So there was just one night when I really was like, I can no longer do this anymore. It got, it just was so, did not feel good in my body. It struggled so much with so many different indoctrinations and messages. And, um, and I just remember praying one night, like, I have to get out of this. Like, at that point, I was like, if I'm going to hell for leaving, then so be it, because I don't want to be continue. And then obviously the more the healthier I got, and I was able to join another a much healthier space with women that I just love and respect, and we're not trying to brainwash me or feed me any sort of way to live, and just allowed me to be more and more of myself. So that was so helpful. But yeah, it was dark there for a bit, especially when I decided that I had enough. And it was just one of the best decisions I've ever made. Leaving now, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just have so much grace, and I love, like, I just want to hug that who I was like 2 years ago, because I don't think that at all. I just think I'm wonderful now. Like, I feel like I'm in a place now where I'm like, I love who I am, and I love the person I'm becoming, and I love myself. And um, yeah, but it was rough there leaving, because with all the messages of, oh, you know, going to hell, and God's not with me anymore, and I'm considered a fall away, which I'm sure there are still people who consider that, who consider me that God's not with me or whatever, and that thinking is just so harmful. And I'm really glad and grateful that I'm not, I don't believe that to be true. Okay. Yes. Sounds good. Yeah, that's a good question. That's oh goodness. There's so much there with that, but I will say that we did make the decision separately. I think I left first, and then he decided. It was fairly shortly after that. Yeah. Um, and we kind of did that back and forth. Like, he might have actually was like, yeah, I'm going to check out other churches. And then I was like, okay, I think that we should stay or whatever. So it might have been, we did that kind of back and forth a couple times. Um, and then, yeah, I just remember me like officially saying that I did not want to continue in this church. Um, and then I think shortly after he was on board with that. But that played a big part too, because I think a lot of the messaging was, oh, well, if you don't marry someone within this cult or in this church, your marriage is not going to last. I know. It's so ick, like even saying that out loud, but yeah, sure. Yeah. Definitely like the path of the unknown. And I talk about that on in my Instagram, my posts and stuff. And it's very abstract, I guess, but I definitely believe in the divine, and something bigger than me. And I believe that it's also in me. So I believe that I am the divine. And I see, yeah, it's just following like the unknown and being okay with those unanswerable questions of like, who am I? And being okay not knowing, being okay being like, I have no idea, and kind of following that path has been so healing for me. And so it's flipped, because right, and a part of this cult, it was like, no, you knew, this is the way. And so I kind of really try to stay away from that extreme thinking, right? Of like, oh, I know the way. Um, and I'm just like, no. No, no, I don't. And I'm okay sitting in that and sitting in all that that means, you know. And for me, it's been sitting in a lot of mourning and a lot of grieving and a lot of darkness at times. And I just believe that the darkness, I mean, it's taught me a lot. Mhm. Oh gosh. Um, I just think of like I just think of something that Joseph Campbell says, and he studies like mythology and or he studied mythology and um was an American writer and he talks about like have all the heaven and hells live within us. And I really resonate with that. Like I really, really resonate with that it's not something that's external, that it's within. And And I found that to be true. The more that I've faced the realities of my life and the things I've gone through and the darkness and the hells and the monsters, like they literally if I when I face that boldly, um it like dissipates. Like it there's like light, you know? So it's that's kind of the path that I kind of follow. And I'm also again, I'm like, I don't know. I'm okay saying that too. Like I don't have to have any answers and I think that's super freeing and liberating coming from again how extreme in some ways the cult was with knowing and making sure that you're sinless and um you're making sure you're going to heaven, you know. Yeah, I'm far from that from those days and thank God my body I feel like couldn't handle anymore of that, and, yeah, it was that was rough. Absolutely magnified, yes, because I think that there was also just so much shame around purity, and I think as a sexual abuse survivor, I really there was already so much shame from the abuse that I went through and how my body just felt and responded during that time. And then being a part of a cult that also was just so oppressive to women and our, you know, my body and my own like pleasure. And it's it intensified it, absolutely. Like the depression I struggled with, my mental health stuff, absolutely intensified and just added and aided in the disconnection from my body and the disconnection from who I am and my true authentic self. Like, yeah, so it's been a journey of coming back home to who I am and my body and my pleasure and like my life force and my eros and being okay, like standing in that. Oh gosh, what has that mean? And like it's meant like for many years I was not able to. I was very disconnected from my body, and so that from life force, from just life, it felt like I was really dead in a lot of ways, and in many ways, I really was. It was just I was buried, you know, um, and throughout therapy it's just been yeah a journey of coming back home to me and coming back home to my body and being actually in my body throughout the day because I think I didn't realize how much I live in my head, you know, in my intellect and my ego states and then now I'm like coming back into like my heart space and my soul and just living from more of that space, so it's just been more of being very present with myself and what I feel throughout the day. like literally just being seeing the divine in everything and definitely within my body. So I've been able to meditate just so much better the last, gosh, I don't know, couple years, I want to say, but especially the last 6 months, it's I've been able to actually just sit in silence and be nothing and be everything and be in the silence of meditation and be in my body and see how amazing it is to actually be me, like be inside me, and be connected to like everything around me. That's a great question. I think it's just I wonder if it's really just a time, especially I see more women coming into their own power, and women stepping into who they're meant to be and kind of having enough. Like I think I'm at the point and place too where I'm like I've had enough of kind of sitting back and watching my life go by and not being inside of me and not being me fully and totally with it all, with the rage. I think we kind of talked about that a little bit, like with the anger, with the sadness, with the mourning, with the pleasure. Like I just think it's a time of people waking up more and I think on some level too we're all deeply connected. I think more than we know. Yes, we do. Amazing. I believe you. Yeah, amazing. Oh my gosh, yes. It's yes, yes. It it's oh gosh, oh my gosh. It's so beautiful to look back and see, oh my gosh, how it's connected and see how I was never alone. I was never alone. And I think I felt very alone throughout the time, especially within the cult. And I think I can just have always tended to feel pretty alone with all that I've gone through and kind of different, but yeah, definitely seeing like, oh my gosh, I was not ever alone and seeing how like my spirit guides have all absolutely been with me, and I think, there's something to say about when you for me, when I've continued to step into who I am, like who Jasmarina is, amazing, miraculous, like synchronicities have been happening. I'm becoming more aligned to my soul and like these doors are just opening of spiritual gifts and different things and just my intuition and yeah, we definitely have to connect and I'll share more offline, but yeah, that's definitely been a part of it and so beautiful and wonderful. And there'll be times when I just burst into tears because I'm like, I can't believe I'm experiencing this and that I get to experience this and that I'm just being led and guided. I totally believe I'm being led and guided. So and protected. Yes. Hmm. That's a good question. I think I'm kind of in the place in my life where I'm like, I really just want to continue to get to know who I am, like to be with myself and to be okay, like not doing anything. Cause I think so much of my worth has been put in what I do, like getting the degrees and getting a master's degree and becoming a therapist. And I'm kind of like, no, I just want to live. I want to be so alive that I don't want to miss anything anymore. And I feel like I've missed a lot, kind of being dead and buried and oppressed and disconnected from myself. So I think I just want to really like live it all. I am a therapist. Yeah. Yes. It's, mm, it's one of the things that I have done. And yeah, that's been a journey in and of itself. But yes, I am a therapist. Mm, yeah. Yeah. That doesn't exist. I think I'm always becoming. I'm always becoming and I'm like I think I shared a little bit ago, I'm just kind of tired of feeling like I have to get to a certain point to to like share or yeah, to help because I think there is that pressure I think of being a therapist of I have to have my life together and but I'm like no, no I don't. Like who says I can't also be in the midst of my own healing? Absolutely. Like all my therapist friends too, we're all in the same boat. It's like no, we're human beings, too and yeah, I'm just kind of done like playing into that thinking of that I have to be perfect or I have to have it all together or things like that. I don't believe that at all. And I don't think anyone does. Any actual healer, I'm like, yeah, we all got our stuff. Yes, on my Instagram. My Instagram handle is from ashes to beauty. So you could follow me there. That's pretty much the only social media that I have and that I'm active on. So yeah. Yes, I thought about a podcast that really helped me kind of coming through the, deconstructing of being a part of a cult and it's the Unknowing podcast by Bree Stoner. She's amazing. I'm a big fan of hers and yeah, super helpful. Um, and what else? Any last words? I think I would just say like to anybody, um, to listen to yourself, to listen to your own spirit and trust your own intuition and yeah, trust that it's going to guide you. Like our souls know, our souls know. We're so wise. I think our bodies are so wise too and leading and knowing, our path and our way. And yeah, I think that's yeah. Yes. You know what? I got a new number, so I wonder if yes, that's why. That would make sense. Yes. Mm. Well, I think for me, it's been like a lot of meditating and sitting in silence. I think journaling helps too. I don't know, and I wonder too if there's sometimes when listening to the head voice is the self. Like maybe it's all a part of it all, like listening. There have been so many times and moments when I needed my intellect, like my ego, like part of my psyche to help me, to protect me, and it did a fantastic job like throughout this time, even within the cult. And I believe it kind of did that in ways and forms of of like mental health, like whether that's struggling with depression or struggling with I think I shared on Facebook, like having nightmares every night for years. Like our egos are powerful and not like not bad, even though it also can do damage too, and add to like suffering some. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. But I think that it's maybe listening to both and um at times, right? Like that balance of kind of both. Mm. Oops. Okay, I think I'm back. Yeah. Mhm. Mm, yeah. Thank you, and yeah, thank you for having me. I mean, I'm, yeah, super honored to be on here and share.